is for you to destroy the Nexus that's in the middle of the top and the bottom lane. I'll show you that right back here. It's on this part of the map. Looks like we've done an effective job of consolidating our units because we were able to keep one of those two cannons up, and then we built the second cannon. They're fairly effective. Ideally, you do not want to have to cannon early in the game like we just did. You want to try to attack these units early game to knock them out so you don't have to cannon, because anytime you have to cannon, what it does is it reduces the amount of resources that you can use to build units. Building units, one, produce income, the cannons do not. And you see, so he's telling me he thinks we need to cannon, and we do need to cannon. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to head to establish my two cannons, because it's going to be important for us to defend this right here. I'm going to tell these guys we need to repair. Hopefully they'll all come down like they need to, because they've got a pretty good mass. And it was good that I had those resources that I was able to do that. The new wave of units is coming out. I'm switching between these two. I'm looking at the damage. I want to try to keep these cannons up as long as possible. That's why these other guys, the other SUVs, are here. And we do not need to nuke. Someone suggested we nuke. These cannons are going to be able to take care of this push, and we are going to be good to go. So we've wiped out that incoming force. We've consolidated ours. We're going to make a push on the back side. This is a perfect time right now to go ahead and pile on, because one, I've got the resources. Two, we've held off that attack by cannoning, and now I'm going to be able to throw down that pylon. Now the advantage of running the pylon at this point is it's a plus 16 income, and I'll compare and contrast that to the Immortal. For 175 minerals, I get a plus 7 income, but the pylon gives me a plus 16, and then I can upgrade it in order to get me a plus 32 income. This really helps you start to separate yourself from your opponent with regards to getting to that 90 cap earlier. And I'll just show you right here. It looks like they remasked. Those Immortals are doing quite a job on us, and we're going to have to come up with a counter on that pretty soon, or we're going to continue to have problems with them pushing back in. Those cannons will effectively wipe out their force well into mid-game, as long as everybody repairs. But I've got a lot of resources that I haven't spent, so it's probably because I'm talking too much here and not playing the game effectively that I need to go ahead and get in there and start building some units. And so I'm going to go ahead and spend those resources and get those units in the queue to get out there and get in the fight. It looks like what my ally here on the bottom lane is actually doing a pretty effective job of massing tanks. Looks like we've held off once again by teching. Now look at the top lane up here. My allies at the top did a pretty effective job of massing, and they're attacking right at the front door of the other opponent's base. But one thing that my opponents have done is they put down 3 cannons, but not only have they put down just regular cannons, they've upgraded those cannons at the cost of 300 minerals apiece. What it does is it triples the rate of fire for those. It also increases the HP, the health points for each of those cannons, making them much more difficult to destroy, particularly if you're repairing them. Go ahead and take a look at my lane. You're going to see how this going ahead and is massing. They're telling me they want me to get a Colossi. Not a bad idea, since I have Terran as an opponent. And it's a fairly effective unit, just like it is in normal Starcraft competitions. Alright, so let's take a look at the income that we've got. I'm well behind all the income streams over here, both my allies and my opponents. So what I need to do is go ahead and look, and I've just got 250 minerals, so I'm going ahead and upgrade my pylon. I've got to make up the difference on this income stream, or I'm going to get left behind and eventually be overrun. So I've really got to be careful about getting those minerals spent in a timely fashion. If you notice, they're saying top needs Colossi. I don't know that's going to help this deal. This is going to be a scenario for a special ability called the nuke. Each player has one nuke at their disposal. But the placement and the timing of the nuke is very, very important. One, you cannot nuke in mid lane here. You can only nuke inside your base, and that is starting at this little downgrade lip. I need to go ahead and build instead of talk here. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and take a look at getting carriers, because carriers are fairly effective. But I need to throw a Phoenix down. Now, you can put air units and clump them all because the air unit comes up and out of the unit. I'm going to show you this nuke here. They are going to have to nuke top in order to survive this push. And so I'm going to tell them to pick one. Meaning one opponent needs to decide who is going to use their nuke. One of the worst things you can do in a game is both players on the top or the bottom to nuke at the same time. It's a waste of a perfectly good nuke. It keeps you from being able to hold off another push. I'm going to get up there and start repairing just in case they don't decide to nuke, and they're going to have to, or we're going to lose all of these cannons. Boom, and there it is. And it was a fairly poor nuke, to be honest with you, because you saw those units come rolling in. If you let them start to hit those cannons and stop, wait for 3 to 5 seconds before nuking that group, you'll make sure to get all those stragglers coming in. Notice my opponents are, we're going to have to nuke the bottom two. Okay, so I'm just told my competitors that, or my opponents that, or excuse me, my allies that I'm going to nuke, so I'm going to show you this. I'm going to wait for them to start to attack those cannons. Let them get nicely consolidated, but I don't want to lose them at the same time, so I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, boom. You see I took damage on both those cannons, but still yet I got in there and saved them with the nuke. Provided quite a few resources. I need to go ahead and start building some carriers, particularly against those colossi, because you notice there was 3 colossi that were coming in, so they're in play. But I'm going to go ahead and start throwing down carriers. I'm going to just run them 1, 2, 3, 4, because I had that many resources built up, which is way too many. You need to get those resources out earlier than that. You're going to notice that our allies on the top have massed fairly effectively. This is going to be a nuke group for the opponents. There's no way they're going to be able to come against that type of massing. We're still having some problems on the bottom, but as soon as my carriers come out, we should go ahead and mass up with our existing group and do a fairly effective job. And I apologize for this lag that I'm getting as these units are growing in size. My wife's got the good computer. I happen to have to use this sucky laptop because even though I'm the computer guy, I get the crap computers around here. But she's smoking hot, so I let her get away with that crap. I'm looking at her while I'm talking about her. Alright, look at the top section here. You see how they've gone ahead and masked up like I knew they would. Look at the bottom section here. We're going to have to nuke that mess down here. We're going to have a lot of problem. And you see here my carriers have come into play. They do have quite a bit of stalkers, which is going to cause some problem with those carriers because when it takes out both the interceptors that come out, and eventually you see they're taking that one carrier out that was left of the 4. But look how much minerals I've got built up. So I'm going to go ahead and go over my pylon. I'm going to upgrade that, and then I'm going to get my unit back here to the back. And I need to build some more carriers. You see they're all coming out there again. Alright, this game is lagging more than normal because obviously I'm recording this, which is CPU and hard drive intensive, and this just tells me that I'm definitely going to have to get a new computer. Alright, going all air is an important technique because at some point we're going to build